Hello, good morning, everyone. You're welcome to our August webinar. And today we'll be talking about managing multi-generational workforces, bridging the gap. All right, good morning once again. My name is Abdulbasid. Please confirm that you can hear me. All right, so like I said, you're welcome to our August webinar, and today we'll be talking about managing multi-generational workforces, bridging the gap. I want you all to watch this video. All right. So you're welcome once again. So for our webinar objectives, as you can see on the screen, after today's webinar, you are going to understand the dynamics of a multi-generational workforce by identifying the key characteristics, expectations, and values of different generations in today's workplace. You're also going to recognize the benefits and challenges of generational diversity and explore strategies to leverage the strengths of each generation for organizational growth. It will develop effective leadership and communication approaches that foster collaboration, respect, and inclusivity across diverse age groups. And lastly, I'm going to design actionable strategies for organizations and manage work preferences, support training and development, and build a culture that bridges generational gaps. So here we have our outlines, as you can see on the screen. And now, please, everyone should mute their mic. If you have any question, you can raise your hands or you drop it in the chat box. We are pretty much going to attend to all your questions. So our facilitators for today's webinar, we have Benga Sani. Oluwagbemiga Sani is a seasoned professional in the field of human resources, currently serving as an HR associate consultant at Kimberly Limited. With a strong foundation in human resources management and a track record of contributing to organizational growth and efficiency, Oluwagbemiga has demonstrated expertise in recruitment, employee relations, performance management, and HR strategy development. Throughout his career, Oluwagbemiga has been instrumental in driving HR initiatives that align with organizational goals. His role at Kimberly Ryan Limited involves overseeing HR operations, implementing policies and procedures, and fostering a positive workplace culture. He is known for his strategic thinking, excellent communication skills, and ability to build strong relationships with employees at all levels. Oluwagbemiga's experience spans various industries, and he has a proven ability to adapt to different organizational contexts. He holds a Bachelor of Science, BSc, in Business Administration from Kwara State University and is committed to continuous professional development as evidenced by certifications and participation in relevant training programs. This is one of our facilitator, and now meet our second facilitator. We have Vivian Agunab. Vivian is a highly motivated and driven professional with strong expertise in strategic planning, transformational change, and operational efficiency. She is highly disciplined and is committed to delivering value and excellence across various value chains and industries. Vivian has 15 years of professional experience that cuts across human resource management and consulting, business advisory and management, learning and development, corporate branding and communication. Over the course of her career, Vivian has worked as human resource manager, leading talent acquisition and learning and development strategies at Moinani Group, Kimberly Ryan Limited, and Stanton Chase as a business administration and management specialist at the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management. She's a member of a few professional bodies, including CIPN, CIPAN, and CIPM. Vivian has excellent organizational leadership and interpersonal abilities. She is highly creative, very effective communication with effective communication and demonstrated aptitude to decision making and problem solving. So now I'm going to be handing over to our first facilitator, Benga Sani.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Basit. Please confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, Benga, we can hear you.
All right. Thank you very much. So, good morning, everybody. Once again, it's a pleasure to be here with us this morning. And before we start, I will just implore us to look around. If there are any of our friends or our colleagues that are here to join, we can just quickly reach out to them so that they can join in this exciting webinar this morning. Thank you as you do that. So our topic for this webinar is the multi-generational workforce. And this is a very interesting topic. And believe me, this is the right time to treat this topic as well. And the subtopic is managing multi-generational workforces, bridging the gap. So when we talk about multi-generational workforce, today's workforce is more diverse in age than ever before. Yes, because in today's workforce, we have a whole lot of generations working together to achieve the common goal of an organization. And it is important that it is important we understand and manage this multi-generational workforce for organizational success. And in today's webinar, we'll be talking about how different generations bring unique perspective, work ethics, and different communication styles. And we'll also be exploring the characteristics, expectations, and values of various generations, along with strategies to foster collaboration and inclusivity in the workplace, how we can manage each generation, and how we can all work together. So moving on, we are taking a look at the generations present in the workplace today. And first, we have the traditionalists. These are people from 1928 to 1945. I want to believe even if we have traditionalists in our organizations, there will be very little. There will not be as much as the other generations. These are like our great grandparents now. Yes, traditionalists. And moving on to the second generation, which is the baby boomers. And this generation falls under the gap of the year of 1946 to 1964. So these are the baby boomers. And then moving on to Generation X, these are individuals that fall under 1965 to 1980. And then for the millennials, this set of generation are more common now in our corporate work environment, and they fall within the year of 1981 to 1996. Most of our millennials are, middle level managers, top managers, board members of organizations now, and then we have the Gen Z, that's the Generation X, Generation Z. Each generation has unique expectation and values regarding work. Yes, you would agree with me that um, millennials and Generation Z are two different timelines, so they operate with different unique expectations and also values regarding work. Understanding this can improve job satisfaction, enhance productivity, and foster loyalty among employees. Employers should align their policies to meet these diverse needs. Yes, and that is why it is important for organizations to be as flexible as possible in their policies. And most people are always very swift to say, "Oh, this is how we have been doing our things since time memorial. We cannot change it." Blah 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 blah. And so, in such organizations, where you go there, you would see that when a Gen Z resume today, next week, or at most 1 month, the person has left the organization. Why? Because the organization is not so flexible with their policies. They are not able to, understand that different generation has their unique expectation and values regarding work. So it is important to be able to strike a balance in order to bridge this gap and ensure that all generations are catered for in, in the workspace. So what are the key characteristics of each generation? The first one, the first generation, the traditionalists, these are the way old people. Like I mentioned earlier, most traditionalists are now grandparents, great grandparents as well. So traditionalists, major characteristics with this generation involves, the respect authority, they value loyalty, and they also prefer a structured environment. They might not be too used to flexibility. They might not be too used to constant changes, and they might not be, able to adapt as much as is being needed. So these are the major characteristics of the traditionalist generation. And then moving on to the baby boomers. Baby boomers' characteristics are motivated by personal growth and recognition, strong focus on hierarchy. Yes, these are people that you will hear, "Oh, I've been in this organization for 20 years. I've been working in this organization for 25 years," and all that. Yeah, so these are the major characteristics of the baby boomers generation. And for Generation X, practical problem solvers, that is what they are. They have very strong desire for flexibility, skeptical of authority as well. Always working and ensuring that, oh, everything is going according to plan. And to the millennials, these are most of the generation we work with in our various workspace. The millennials that prioritize meaningful work, teamwork, and work-life balance. Yes, the millennials, really came up with, the whole work-life balance policy, enhancing teamwork policies, and they also prioritize meaningful work as well. And for the Generation Z, they thrive in the digital space. Yes, you would agree with me when I say that this generation has pushed working remotely, having not having physical meeting every now and then, and all that. Generation Z, the major characteristics are they thrive in digital space, expect diversity and inclusion, and also seek rapid growth. Yes, very, 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 very unique as far as flexibility is concerned. Most Gen Z they're not too rigid, unlike the older generations, always looking for the next big opportunity, always adapting and always on the move. So, what are the benefits of of a multi-generational workforce? We have people from different generations working in the same workspace. What are the benefits such organizations stand to gain? Because if an organization is being able to, you know, key into this advantage of having different individuals from different generations, it's poses different benefits for for a workforce. And the first benefit is that it brings diverse perspective. Yes, everybody is not just looking in one direction. It brings diverse perspective, creativity, and innovation from different age groups. Yes, different age groups. This is one of the major benefits. And the second one is the transfer of knowledge. Yes, transfer of knowledge. Seniors share experience, while juniors share fresh insights and digital skills. Yes, this is one major benefit of a multi-generational workforce. And then the next benefit is the balanced workforce. Experience plus innovation will definitely give you stronger organizational outcomes. And this this is something that has helped organization in our current corporate world, having a balanced workforce, a mixture of millennials, mixture of generation X, a mixture of generation Z as well. This has really helped, to balance the workforce. I'm very sure if a Gen Z should get hired by an organization and they get to work on a Monday and they see that everybody there, they are either in the traditionalist generation or baby boomers. I'm very sure the generation Z employee is not going to last there for a month because the workforce is not as balanced as it's supposed to be. And the resilience, yes, different perspectives prepare teams to adapt to change more effectively. So these are the four major benefits of a multi-generational workforce. So we'll be having a quick poll, and then I'll be taking us back to Basit to anchor this poll. Basit, over
All
to you
right, thank
again.
you very much for that, Benga. So, a poll will show on your screen now. Please, we want you to quickly attend to it. The questions are going to pop up now. Okay, so yeah. So let's keep it coming. We have um four questions. Yeah, so please let's keep it coming. Let's answer the questions and the poll, and yeah, it's supposed to be. Let's keep it coming. Please let's answer those questions. Okay, let's keep it coming. All right, let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Let's respond to the poll. Thank you. Yeah, we have four questions. Okay, let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Thank you. Thank you. Let's keep it coming. So we have four questions. Let's keep it coming. Okay, a quick read. The first question says, what does the generational mix in your organization look like? So you have four options. So the second one says, which generation do you find most challenging to work or manage with in your workplace? Then the next one says, what is the most common workplace conflict you observe across generations. And the last one says, how does your organization currently support a multi-generational workforce? So please let's keep our answers coming. We are going to share the result of the poll just immediately after the poll before our next facilitator comes on board.
Yeah, it has showed, but I've answered that.
I don't know how to communicate with you. Luke, can you come in and translate?
Let's keep our answers coming. The poll is going to be ended in a few seconds. Let's keep it coming. Thank you. Let's keep it coming. All right, we'll be sharing the result of the poll now. The first question that says, what does the generational mix in your organization look like? Okay, most people answered predominantly millennials and Gen Z. We have 60% of that. We have 33% of balanced mix of all generations, and we have 7% of unsure. Okay, that's fine. The second question we have, which generation do you find most challenging to work with? Or manage in the workspace. Okay, majority picked Gen Z, right? 47%, none, 27%. Okay, baby boomers, 13%, then Gen X, 7%, millennials, 7%. All right. So we have what is the most common workplace conflict you observe across generations? We have, okay, there's a tie here, work-life balance, expectations and attitudes towards authority and hierarchy, 27%, 27%, all right. And there is difference in communication styles, we have 20%. We have collaboration versus individual work preference, 20% of that. Technology adoption and use, 7%. All right. So lastly, we have how does your organization currently support a multi-generational workforce? Okay, flexible work arrangements. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, we have 53% that ranks the highest. And we have 20% of inclusive policies and culture building activities. We have 15% of no specific strategies in place. Okay, then 7% of tailored training and development programs and 7% of mentorship or reverse mentorship programs. All right, so thank you very much to those that answered. We are going to be bringing our next facilitator on board, Vivian Avunabo. Thank you. Vivian, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Basit. And thank you also to the previous speaker, Benga, for the job well done. So before I go right into it, I think there's a video that we have to watch. So I'd like us to all watch this video and maybe we can share comments afterwards.
I don't know how to communicate with you. Luke, can you come in and translate, please? You got it, boss. Ava, we need to discuss your quarterly performance metrics.
What?
He said, bestie, he wants to tell you how you've been slaying at work.
Oh, bet. That's actually fire. My numbers have been giving main character energy. All facts, no printer.
She's excited and confident. Her performance has been excellent. She's being honest with you.
I need you to work harder and focus on the synergistic optimization of your deliverables.
He's saying bet. He wants you to lock in and make your work hit different.
Say less. I'm about to be so locked in, it's not even funny.
She understands exactly what you're saying, and she'll focus and be intense about her work.
Oh, that's great.
See? Gen Zs and millennials can work together.
How to communicate with you. Luke,
All right.
can you come in and
All right.
translate,
All
please?
right.
You got it, boss. Ava, we need to discuss your quarterly performance metrics.
What?
He said, bestie, he wants to tell you how you've been slaying at work.
Oh, bet. That's actually fire. My numbers have been giving main character energy. All facts, no printer.
She's excited and confident. Her performance has been excellent. She's being honest with you.
I need you to work harder and focus on the synergistic optimization of your deliverables.
He's saying bet. He wants you to lock in and make your work hit different.
Say less. I'm about to be so locked in, it's not even funny.
She understands exactly what you're saying, and she'll focus and be intense about her work.
Oh, that's great.
See? Gen Zs and millennials can work together.
All right, Vivian.
Yeah, thank you so much, Basit, for sharing that very lovely video. I'll just like to quick check in with our fantastic audience so far. From the video, from the conversations we've had so far, do we have any comments we'd like to share at this point? You can drop a comment. You can, signify by putting your hands up if you want to speak. Any comment from the video we just saw, or any comments so far from the conversation we've been having? Basit, do confirm if there's anyone in the comments who wants to
Yes, we
share.
have Samuel and Yeniji, we have
You can go ahead and
Adiola. Yeah, please, they can go ahead and unmute and speak. Okay, Adiola Agbilimogi, please go ahead.
Okay, yes. Thank you. First, I want to apologize that I came in late. I had to sort out some businesses, but this video, for me, what jumps out at me is communication is key, right? And I like what the boss is doing. He has probably understood, maybe from past experience, that Beth has not, their communication. He's been trying to communicate, and she is not getting what he's saying, and then he's brought in this energy. Do you understand? So he's ensuring that he's covering all aspects to get to Beth in terms of communication in order to make her more productive. So I see him going the extra mile to ensure that he's able to reach her. So for me, it tells me that, you're a supervisor, you're a boss, even if it's peer-to-peer relationship, you understand, you must first understand what is the issue and then ensure that you are speaking the language of the person you are talking to so that you're able to get them on board with you. Really. So that's my thought. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was really spot on. Thank you so much for that, Adiola. Before I go ahead, Basit, do any other comments, or can I go ahead
Yes,
now?
we have Samuel. Samuel is raising his hands. Please, Samuel, you can unmute now.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, good morning, rather. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Samuel.
Yeah. So, from the video we just watched, what I actually noticed is the link between the both generation, the boss and the Gen Z lady. Both of them, rather than the boss perceiving her as being lazy and not wanting to do what's expected of her, there was someone that can actually give communicate in her own ways so that she will understand that this is actually what you are expected to do. So there's a need for clear and accurate communication, and there's actually a need for the person that we link different kind of people at workplace and different generation at workplace to attain the desired results. So that is what I actually see from that video. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Samuel. And thanks so much to everyone. This brief interaction has really shown that we are all on the same page on this topic. So I'll just be jumping right into the next slide in continuation of our conversation, which is bridging the gap, the leadership role. So just like we saw in the video we just watched, the leader, let's assume he's the manager of that young lady. And clearly there's a generational gap, which means there's going to be a whole lot of gap in between communication, understanding, and all of that. And he went the extra mile to find a way to bridge that gap. So leaders have to make sure that they are bridging the gap between generations by putting things in place where everyone gets to understand each other, because clearly we are all working at ABC Limited for the common goal of that company and for the common goal of our own growth. So the first thing leaders need to do is to ensure they're bridging the gaps, taking away all kinds of stereotypes and making sure that everything flows from one generation to the other and there's clear understanding. The second thing a leader should ensure that they are doing is encouraging mutual respect and empathy. Now, it's usually a huge problem, if I say, or should I say, challenge between generations when respect is brought to the table. It's always a case of respect me, I'm older than you, but leaders have to make the entire team understand that respect has to be mutual, right? In the workplace, when there's that mutual respect for the value everybody's bringing to the table and empathy to understand where everyone is coming from, we're going to find that synergy comes into play and everyone is working together happily. The third thing that a leader should ensure they are doing is setting shared goals and values, ensuring that everyone is on the same page and the team is united. When you have a shared goal, you know we are all working to hit this set target, and this is our target all together as a team. When we all buy into that goal as a team, there's going to be that mutual understanding to say, okay, this is your role, this is my role, and everybody's working together. So shared goals is very important for the leaders to make sure that they put that into place. Then finally, we have leading by example, by ensuring inclusivity and adaptability. So as a leader, you have to lead by example. You have to be the one to lead the way, to show the people how to do it, just like the manager did in the video that we saw. Sitting with his team member, he doesn't understand what she's saying, right? She's using all the new slangs and he's still stuck in his, of course, in his own generation with the slangs that he understands. So there's communication gap. But he led by example by saying, I'm not going to just generalize by saying, okay, all Generation Z are lazy and she's not doing what she's supposed to do. I will lead by example by putting, whatever policies that we have put in place, I'm going to stick by it and make sure that I'm understanding what this person is saying. So he got a translator and everything was solved. Now those are ways, not restricted to only these 4, but these are some 4 key ways that leaders can ensure that they are leading by example and bridging the gap between generations in the team. Now we're going to be talking about communication. Again, as we saw in that video, communication is very, very important because really the end game of communication is to say something and the other person you're speaking to understands. If you talk and you're talking above someone's head, there's no understanding and it's always going to lead to gaps and conflicts, right? So communication across generations is very important in the workplace, and we are going to look through this slide and understand how each generation communicates and what strategies we can use to address that. Now we have the traditionalists and the boomers. Like my colleague has said, they are really getting fewer in the workforce because it's getting to their age of retirement, but they still are a lot of them, or quite a number of them in the workplaces, and their preference is a face-to-face communication. They want to see your face, right? They want to be sure they're looking into your eyeballs to have that communication. For the Generation X, they are comfortable with emails, value directness. They just be direct. However you want to communicate to them, just communicate directly. Very comfortable with emails. Millennials like to use instant messaging, collaborative tools. So whether it's your Slack or Microsoft Teams, even WhatsApp nowadays, usually used for business communication. That is where you find most millennials. For the Generation Z, they prefer, they're very fast-paced generation. They want quick meetings, quick stand-up meetings, virtually, as a matter of fact. These are the preferences for each of the generations. But what strategy can we put in place to ensure that as a whole, as a team, we are all communicating together, blending in the simple word that I can say at this point? You can blend the different types of communication using different types of methods, approaches, and tools to ensure that each generation is is heard, right? Now, when we talk about blending, we can use a mix of physical meetings, we can use a mix of virtual emails to ensure that when communicating across generations, we are using everything that is comfortable for them. This is where inclusivity comes in. So moving on, we're talking about managing work preferences. Again, just like the communication preferences were different, work preferences are also different for generations. And I'm sure a lot of us are experiencing now the latest preference from our major workforce, which is the demographic of the workforce now is the Generation Z and the millennials. And the preference is remote, like you don't have to see my face for me to do my job. And thanks to COVID, it's also proved, the COVID era also proved that to be very true. I don't need to be physically present in the office for me to do my job. So we'll just look quickly through the preferences for each generation. Again, the boomers, they prefer structures, they prefer schedules and stability. The boomers are, how do I put it? So again, not to stereotype, but this is from, data and observations that have been done from time to time. The boomers prefer stability. Most boomers you would see that would tell you that I've been in an organization for 40 years. I was at an event over the weekend and a man was being celebrated and he had stayed in his workplace for 35 years and was retiring happily. It's something that is very rare that you see now for most younger generations, because moving on, we're going to see what their preferences are. Gen X will value independence and flexible work. The millennials desire flexible work and hybrid and remote work styles, while the Generation Z expects, now notice the terms that I'm using, the Generation X would expect digital first, fast-paced environments that's mostly remote. So it's this generation, you would find a lot of people living in a certain location, but working for a company in a totally different region, sometimes even different countries, but it's very fast-paced. And these are the kind of preferences that we are seeing in our workforces these days. Now, again, the strategy to managing a team of diverse workforces like this is flexibility and adaptability, ensuring that we are flexible enough to change things, to adapt to different generations would be very helpful for us to manage our teams. Now we'll move on to training and development. Again, for our generation types, we have different types of expectations when it comes to capacity development for themselves. Tailored training, tailored learning would be very effective because we cannot throw out a blanket type of training for the different generations that are present. So having tailored trainings that will speak to the specific needs of each person, not even generation at this time, specific needs of each person in the organization would go a long way in helping capacity development for that person. Reverse mentoring is also one very good style to put into place, because when you have younger people, younger colleagues, mentoring and coaching their older colleagues in different aspects that are not, let's talk about the digital entrance into the workforce, for example. So you can have a kind of reverse mentoring where the younger workforce are coaching the older ones, and even side by side with the regular mentoring, where the older ones coach the young ones on the wealth of experience they've gathered over the years. That will also go a long way in terms of capacity development for the organization. Continuous learning is also very important for all. Leaders need to ensure that every member of the team understands that they need to continue learning and upskilling every time. The fact that you have spent a number of years in the organization does not mean that that you know it all. So we always, leaders and even as HR managers, we can always recommend that learning should be continuous and across diverse fields, especially as new trends and technologies come into play. Now we're going to quickly move on to building on, sorry, take that again. Building on inclusive culture. Now, inclusion is very important. So managing multi-generational workforce is just, in a nutshell, being inclusive, understanding that each generation comes with a different set of background, values, thinking, and expectation. So building an inclusive culture will be very important, ensuring that there are no age-based stereotypes saying that, oh, this is how this, because this person is this age, that's how they will behave. No, we need to take it out, because from observations and experience, there are so many people of different generations who do not necessarily act like they should. And that's where you hear a case of, you shouldn't be doing this, you're old, or you can't do this, you're too young. No, we should take out that stereotypes from our conversations as leaders. We should be promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion at all times. So this means that we need to put into place initiatives like the reverse mentoring I talked about earlier, or putting up policies that would encourage the diversity and inclusion of different age demographic in our workplace, because each person is coming from different backgrounds, like I said, different value sets, and they all have different opportunities that they're bringing to the table. You may be unknowingly locking out so many great opportunities because you're not blending as a team and working together. The older generations have a wealth of experience, it may be a bit more boldness because they have done a lot, and the younger generations have fresh perspectives of things. They know how they have more of the new trends, the digital experience, what is going on in the market, what most markets target markets are expecting. So having a blend of all of this and taking off all kinds of stereotypes, ensuring that there's inclusivity when brainstorming sessions are being done, when decisions are being made, that will go a long way in pushing the company forward. So we would okay, and one last thing is to ensure that we are creating team building activities that ensure that this synergy comes into play. So there are always opportunities for the team to work together, to collaborate. We should remember that at all times it is collaboration over competition. And now we talk about the action steps for organizations. What are some things that you can do as an organization to help you better achieve success, leveraging on the multi-generational team you have in your organization? So quickly, I'll just run through. You can conduct generational awareness and sensitivity training, making people understand each other and understand how each other's work and each other's expectation, fostering mentorship and reverse mentorship programs, promoting flexible work so that everyone feels inclusive when it comes to the type of work arrangements, creating platforms for cross-generational collaboration, like I said, collaboration over competition, and regular evaluation. So we should regularly evaluate where we are, what we're doing, how can we do it better. And I'm going to end quickly by saying a quote by Verna Myers. Verna Myers is, I think she's at Netflix. Yes, Verna Myers. And one line she's really known for is diversity is being invited to the party. Inclusion is being asked to dance. So what does that really mean? It means it's not just good enough that, yes, we are being diverse and we are hiring people across all demographies, all age demographies. It is also going the extra mile to ensure communication is excellent between all generations, taking away all kinds of stereotypes, taking away all kinds of gaps in ensuring that each demographic feels inclusive when there are brainstorming sessions, strategy sessions, even the fun side that seems like is what a Gen Z would like. You never know, maybe the boomer in your organization may also want to be part of that PR campaign, for example. So it's about being inclusive and letting everybody be a part of the team, so that the set shared goals and objectives are achieved successfully. And with that, I'm going to come to the end of my presentation, and we'll be happy to take questions and answers at this point. Myself and Gbenga will be happy to do that. Thank you so much. That's it, please.
Thank you very much, Vivian, for the insightful session. Please, if we have any question, do well to raise your hand so that we can ask you to unmute your mic and ask your question. We'll be taking about 5 questions. Please raise your hand so that you can unmute and ask your question. Or if you are comfortable sharing it in the chat box, that's perfectly fine too. You can drop your questions in the chat box as well. So please raise your hand to ask your questions if you have any question. All right, so questions. We don't have anyone that has any question. Okay. Um, okay, I think there is a question from the chat box. Okay. Oh, okay, it's just a random greeting. Please, you can also check the chat box to follow us on our social media handles. We have our Twitter, our LinkedIn, our Facebook. The link has been dropped in the chat box. Please do well to follow us on our social medias. All right, so quickly,
Hi,
do okay, someone is trying
hi,
to
Doctor.
speak.
Yes,
Oh,
confirm that you
Taiwo,
can
do
hear
you
me,
have a
please.
question?
Yes, I do.
All right, please, Taiwo, go ahead and ask your question.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, Taiwo, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, so my question is, yes, yes. So my question, so I'm a Gen Z, right? And I have bosses that other generations like millennial and the like, and I'm in the HR space. So how do I manage upwards? How do I manage my bosses and basically be able to communicate well with them so that there's no breach in the relationship? That's what it is. So did you get that?
All right, Taiwo, can you come again? The mic was a little bit, your voice was a little bit low. I didn't really hear your question.
Okay. Please confirm that you can hear me better now.
Yeah, a little bit better.
Okay. So my question, I'll take that again.
Okay.
I said
Yeah,
I'm a Gen Z and I work in the HR space. So how do I bridge the gap um between the communication gap between me and my bosses? My bosses are from other generations and I want to be able to work well with them. So basically I want to try and manage our relationship even as a Gen Z. But my bosses are not in this meeting. So how do I impact what I've learned in this meeting in my communications with them, basically? Thank you.
all right, Taiwo, thank you for your question. Vivian.
All right. Okay, I'll try. I actually wanted Gen Z Gbenga to answer, but let me try. So you said you want to manage communication gap between yourself and your bosses who are of older generation. So basically, at the end of the day, like I said, when we're having this conversation, it's about the set goals that we have the shared goals that we have amongst ourselves. So if you're speaking the language of, trying to reach our set objectives and goals, ensuring that you're aligned, with your boss's expectations, I'm sure that's going to be easy to manage. So one thing you can also do is try to understand your boss, getting to know them better, understand how they think, because clearly it's going to be different from you, even if you were in the same generation, because he's a different individual, it's going to be different. So understanding him or her, knowing how to address and meet them halfway will go a long way. So basically just get to understand, like I said, if you need an interpreter in this sense, may not necessarily be like we saw in the video, but having to understand at the end of the day, because when he's communicating, he or she is communicating, it has to be important that you understand what they want, and then you try to meet them halfway at the end of the day. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Right.
Yes, thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much for that, Vivian. We have about 2 questions from the chat box. Naomi said, what do you do when C-suite is not willing to acknowledge the difference between the generations and try to bridge the gap rather than use one size fits all approach? So I would take that again. What do you do when C-suite is not willing to acknowledge the difference between the generations and try to bridge the gap rather than use one size fits all approach?
Okay, let me take that. So sometimes, I mean, we face that challenge where management or C-suite do not understand the impact of what this can do to the team. So it's our job as HR managers or people leaders, depending on where you're leading any team, to present the data to management for them to understand. I'll give a random example of an organization that were very strict on the work mode, for example. It was strictly an on-site situation. It must be in the office at all times. But from there was experiencing a whole lot of attrition, a whole lot of poor performance, and HR was able to take all of that data to management to say, this is my recommendation to address this. People live mainly far away from the office, and the commuting to work, especially in a place like Lagos, is very hectic in the morning. By the time they come in, they're tired. By the time they come in, and then they have to come in every day, they get home late. So performance is really poor. Putting the data in front of management to say, this is what my recommendation. If you try hybrid, instead of going fully remote, let's try hybrid, for example, and let's measure. So evaluation is also very key. Measure after a certain period the impact of this decision, and management was able to buy into that because data was provided to buttress her point. Now, what I'm trying to say is, if most times to manage the C-suite and management, it is the use of data, putting data in information down to say, this is the situation, this is what will happen if we put this and this in place. My recommendation is that we try it for 3 months and see how it does, and we can measure the impact of that. So if you try that with your leaders and see if they would buy into that. So there has to be strong information. So you have to do your research. You have to do the work of putting the data in place and doing a projection to say, this is the impact if we try something new. I hope that helps.
All right.
Sorry,
Thank you
sorry,
very
Asif.
much.
Can I just
Okay.
add to that, please?
Okay. Sure, Benga, go ahead.
All right. So just to buttress on what Vivian have mentioned, so that issue should not be seen as a generational issue. It should rather be seen as a business issue. Yeah. So it should not be a case of, oh, it's because this person is in one generation and that's why they're not having regard for this other generation. No, it should be from the standpoint, you should view it from the standpoint of being a business issue. And just as Vivian has correctly mentioned, that rather than pinpointing these issues out, you should rather go with data that help to expose the loophole. So when the C-suit is seeing the data rather than just mere talks. It's they give it more attention. Yeah. So it should not be a generational problem, but you should not see it as a generation problem. We should rather see it as a business problem. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for that addition, Binga. So we have another question from Ololade in the chat box. Ololade says, in a situation whereby the line managers are majorly Generation X and they always want things to be done in their own way, how would you explain to them about how things are done in a more better way than the usual way? All right, should I take that again? All right. Olalade says, in a situation whereby the line managers are majorly Generation X and they always want things to be done in their own way, how would you explain to them about how things are done in a more better way than the usual way?
Okay, thank you, Basit, for reading out the question. Please confirm that you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, Benga, go ahead. You can hear you.
Oh, okay. All right. All right, great. So to answer that question, it's the response Vivian gave earlier is still still very valid. Yes, of course, there are easier ways to get things done now. In fact, there are more simple ways to get tasks done easier and faster than what the Generation X are used to. So the best thing is to present this with data to them. Let them know that, oh, okay, this app or this software or doing it this way makes it easier for us. Let them have the data that, oh, this tax is I've taken 2 hours to complete this tax. Whereas if I'm being allowed to use this software or use this AI tool to solve this tax, I can get it done within 15 minutes, where I'll be able to have time to solve other relevant issues. It's makes your work easier, makes your work faster, and at the end of the day, the manager that is a Generation X would also want to be key in on what is making your work faster and easier for the team. Yeah. So the best thing is just data presentation, and like I said earlier, at times most of these issues are not just they're not a generational issue. It's just from a business standpoint. Yeah, just from a business standpoint, and you need to put in data to let people see, to let the person see that, oh, okay, this can help. Yeah, this can help, and this make things easier. Yeah, and also rather than just asking for, at times, that, well, when we want to change, we want the change to be instant. When we bring up an idea, we want the change to be implemented immediately and all that. So why not just give it time, do it in a small, timely manner, just bit by bit, your points being stated out bit by bit. When you're done with one, then you move on to the next one. When you're done with one point, then you move on to the next one. Not just having 10 points at the same time, and you want the whole 10 points to be attended to at the same time. Yep. So just give it time, give them time. And like we know, their Generation X, their characteristics are different from our own characteristics. Yeah. Yep. So just have to give it time. And I believe with time and with you pushing out enough data for the Generation X manager to see, it's just a matter of time. The Generation X manager would definitely come on board. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Benga, for answering that question. Please, we have our feedback link in the chat box. Please just take a moment to go to the chat box and fill the feedback form. It's just for us to improve next time and know how impactful the sessions were. So please go ahead and fill um the link.
Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for smoothly anchoring our webinar this month. Before we round up, I would like to sincerely apologize for the incident that happened earlier at the beginning of the session. We are still in shock here at the office, and we are going to find out, how that came about. We're definitely going to see that. But we're really sorry. We apologize. That was a clearly hack into our session from a foreign body, and we're going to sort that out. I would also like to say that we have all our webinars uploaded on our Kimberly Ryan YouTube channel. So please go on to YouTube and search for Kimberly Ryan Limited and watch all our very insightful, very interesting webinar videos, for your listening and educational pleasure. So please do drop us a comment as well. And we're very happy to receive feedback. Thank you so, so much for joining us this month. And we are looking forward to having you next month as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Vivian. So please, once you fill the form, just write done in the chat box, so we are sure that you've filled the form. Okay, Adiola says a very big thank you to our facilitators for the insightful session. Thank you, Adiola, for joining us, and we hope to see you again next month. Please do not forget to follow us on our social media platforms, our Facebook, LinkedIn, X, Twitter. We have the links in the chat box. Just click on the link and follow us. And the feedback form is also in the chat box. Please go ahead and fill and write done after filling the form. Thank you very much for joining us this month.